It'll be one to go this time by. Coming to the green, buddy. Coming to the green. Let's go get him. Go, go, go. Dig, dig, dig. Go, 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 go.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
Okay, everybody, we're going to kick off our media availability with our chase drivers with Mr. Jeff Burton. Jeff, what's your outlook going into this weekend?
First of all, it's a nice media center. Huh? You guys keep getting nicer and nicer places to stay. That's a good thing. We obviously come here trying to find a way to finish third, maybe I guess possibly second. Obviously our chances of winning a championship are gone, and that's disappointing. But we have second's a lot better than 10th, and it's our goal to get finish as high as we can, to ultimately finish as high as we can in the points. It matters to us where we finish, and that's what we're here to do.
Questions for Jeff? Please state your name and affiliation. Raise your hand. David Talley and Amy Turner have the wireless mics. We'll start with Bruce.
Bruce Martin with SI.com. With DEI and Ganassi merging, that's going to be a net loss of 2 cars to the field. There's estimates of 100 to 125 crew members that have been laid off. Just from your standpoint, how difficult is that, what a lot of these team owners, what a lot of these teams have got to go through right now in making a decision to lay people off?
Well, it's very difficult for the car owners, for everybody involved. This is, we have been the last few years, we've been at I would be willing to say, an all-time high in the number of fully funded, fully staffed race teams. I'm sure that, I'm correct when I say I would imagine more people have been employed within the teams in the last 3 years than ever at a point in our history. With the economy the way it was, with the exposure that NASCAR was able to give sponsors, there's a tremendous amount of willingness to get involved, which created a lot of jobs. Obviously, Toyota coming in started, put at a minimum 2 new multi-car teams in the play. So we had a time where we had a lot of people needing to be employed to serve all the needs that needed to be done, and now at a time when the economy isn't as good, we're going to see the negative side of that. It's really hard to be part of a team that has to let people go. I've said this before in the past. We think about this as a sport, and that's what it is. But to the people involved in the sport, this is the way that they pay their mortgages, and this is the way that they, pay their car loans and send their children to school and pay their bills. So this is a means of, this is the way that you make a living. And, at a time when the economy turns bad, it's just tough times. It's tough times. It'll come back. There's no question in my mind that it'll come back. But this year is going to be a real tough year. The net loss of teams is really going to be interesting to me, because if you think about it, we know we have 2 new teams, and they've offset some of the losses. We know there's 2 new teams coming. One of those has been, at this point, been absorbed into Michael Waltrip Racing. But it definitely appears we're going to have a loss, and then they ended up having a net loss of full-time teams. There's no question.
We'll go Tom and then Mark Allman.
Jeff, Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. I was wondering if we could get your reaction to NASCAR's testing ban.
Well, I haven't seen any official word from NASCAR. I was kind of out of the loop yesterday, so you're telling me something I don't know anything about. Feel free to give me information. I'd love to have it.
What they said is won't be able to test at tracks where Sprint Cup, Nationwide, Craftsman Truck, or Camping World events are held.
You want me to comment on something that's not official? What is this, politics? My crew chief hadn't told me. what I will say about it, without knowing all the details, here comes Mr. Hunter. God, I hate when Jim comes to see me in the middle of a press conference. I swear, I don't know that lady. That Miss Lewinsky, I never seen her. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hunter. I do believe that we're at a time in our sport where we've got to look at ways to cut some cost. There's no doubt about it. We've been in conversation with NASCAR about what it is they can do. More importantly, we as teams ultimately have the responsibility to pay attention to what we're spending. Jack Roush is a master at that. Richard Childress is a master of that, of trying to figure out where to spend the dollars without wasting it. And but this, a testing ban, there's a lot of unknowns. I've never been part of the sport where testing was banned, so I'm not sure of the consequences of that. I do believe that testing is a way for a struggling team to improve, but I also believe that we're in severe times, and we need to have severe actions. I'm assuming that the testing ban will include the inability to obtain tires from Goodyear, because if you can obtain tires from Goodyear, then there are places to go test. So it's a complicated matter, and without having all the details, it's very difficult for me to comment on. I'm more than willing to comment on it after I have all the details, but for me to go in into deep, complex conversations about it without having every bit of the information, because that's what's going to make the thing work or not work, is all of the small things that are within the rule. Without having those, it's really hard for me to comment on. But I am a proponent of severe action, because I think that our sport's got to have severe action right now.
We'll go Mark, and then we'll come back to, I believe, Jeff Gluck has a question. Go ahead.
Jeff, Mark Allman, NASCAR.com. You mentioned right off the bat that it's important to you personally to finish as high in the standings as possible. What is the mindset for a driver if he is mathematically eliminated from a championship at that point?
Well, the chase format has created more of a finality to that, if that makes any sense. In the past, the old format, by far the majority of people coming to this race had been eliminated months ago. We were eliminated a week ago, so it's a little more fresh, a little more raw for us, because it's right in our face, because the reality of our situation just occurred. What we have to do is we have to be sure to refocus, to not dwell on the fact that we're not championship caliber at the moment. So my mindset is to prove to myself, for my team to prove to themselves, for us to prove to each other that we can regroup in the face of disappointment and focus on the positive. This is a no matter what, at the end of the day, this is a test in it really tests your humility. It tests your ability to get over things. It's hard. I mean, it's really hard. But, it boils down to pride. What are you going to do? You're going to lay down and cry about it, or you're going to go to work and bust your ass to try to be better? And that's the course we're going to take.